Theatre director William Galinsky asked me to make a film with him where we'd reanimate the corpse of William Morris.
And you're this naked blue William Morris?
It sounded mad, but it was worth investigating.
So the area's been gentrified. It's so lovely now, don't you think?
Absolutely wonderful. I mean, you know, this place used to be a pie and mash shop.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I think they kept the sign. How
I know.
quaint.
Oh, they're just calling it pie.
Dick said amidst his laughter, "Hold hard, Bob. This questioning of guests won't do."
I love this area. It's so real.
So modern, so now. It's
So
just,
urban.
oh, amazing.
Fantastic coffee, isn't it?
Oh, it's delicious.
It's actually locally sourced.
Oh, where from?
A place called Ezra.
I can't get past page 40 of News from Nowhere. Why I suggested making a film, I don't know. I've never made a film before. Anyway, at least John Rogers is going to come. He's my secret weapon. John Rogers will save the day.
Hello, John Rogers.
Hello, William. I'll have a cup of tea, please. So, William, tell me about this film.
My vision is that it's the year 2019. It's a zombie sci-fi horror epic based on News from Nowhere. And William Morris wakes up as a mummified corpse. He's discovered by council workers digging up the road somewhere, and he's been wrapped in a shroud of his own wallpaper, and the blue dye has preserved his body like a Capuchin monk, and he's completely covered in thick blue hair. He's like a cross between Brian Blessed and the Incredible Hulk, and he wakes up with a start, and slowly it dawns on him that he's woken up 140 years in his own future, like the hero of his own sci-fi novel, News from Nowhere. And the title, John, is Things to Do in Debden When You're Dead.
We are never filming that.
William, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit confused. What is it that you actually want to say in this film?
It's really simple, John. I want to imagine if William Morris was to wake up 140 years in the future, like the hero in his novel, what would he make of our life and times? Would it live up to the utopia he imagined?
Okay, well, I think maybe the best thing we should do is just go out and ask some people in the street.
John, I am putty in your warm hands. Roll VT.
We're imagining what would happen if William Morris came back to life, or travelled forward in time to 2019 to Walthamstow now. What do you think he'd make of the world?
I think he'd be slightly disappointed with the way that how individual the world has become, how isolated people are.
I think he would be devastated of the destruction, especially in this climate nowadays. Looking through and discovering more about William Morris through this gallery, you do discover that he was very, very passionate about people and the environment.
I think he would have mixed feelings. In some ways, I think he'd be delighted, for example, with this museum. I think he'd probably get a kick out of people like Greenpeace or Extinction Rebellion, who are trying to, in some ways, carry on what he was thinking and working towards.
And in terms of sort of access to design and arts and craft for ordinary people, which he was very passionate about, what do you think he'd make of IKEA?
Well, actually, I suppose the kind of the idea of because what was it? It was the famous quote: "Nothing that's useless can be beautiful." Was that? So that's a William Morris quote, isn't it?
And do you think he'd be more Gravidlax or Swedish meatballs in the canteen?
I think he's got to be a Gravidlax man, don't you? Mind you, yeah, no, he'd have to be a Gravidlax man for definite.
Thanks very much.
Cool.
We felt that the complex legacy of William Morris required further exploration. So we manifested some artists in a secret location in Leyton.
And hey presto, through the magic of cinema, we have some artists. The artist Jessica Voorsanger.
Hello.
The artist Miriam Elia.
Hello.
Professor Bob and Roberta Smith, RA, GCSE.
OBE. Do you mind?
And of course, Anthony Gormley. Tell me about the legacy of William Morris and if he has any influence on your work, Miriam Elia.
He doesn't have any influence on my work at all. I've made sure of that.
Why?
I've always found his work quite suffocating in twee, and I understand that there are a lot of artists out there who do like it, and I find them suffocating in twee. But that's fine. I mean, different horses for different courses. And I guess the idea of a socialist utopia, maybe it's the utopia bit, I'm anti-utopian.
What does your child think of William Morris?
Natty, what do you think of William Morris? What do you think of William Morris? You've gone quiet.
This is different.
See, he's excited.
Likes William calm. Likes William Morris.
He's going to rebel against his mother.
Bob and Roberta Smith.
William Morris is one of the great people who thought that art and life were married together. He was an incredible socialist. He created all this extraordinary design, and his idea was to make design for the common people, and it would be about tracing the roots of kind of folk art in England, and it would all be about Arcadia. He's a fantastic, extraordinary, wonderful, visionary artist. And he lived in Walthamstow, not far from Whipps Cross Hospital. It's amazing.
If we could bring William Morris back to life now, what do you think he would make of our present age? Jessica?
Well, I think he'd be pretty shocked. I mean, first of all, everybody would take him for a hipster, and then he'd be overwhelmed with all of our modern technology. But for him, it would be visual chaos. I mean, he wouldn't know what to make heads or tails of anything. Of course.
He'd be hopping on the central line, using public transport, using public amenities.
Oh, I don't know if he'd go that far.
Miriam, what do you think?
Yeah, he probably would. Doesn't mean I like it.
Okay. And Anthony Gormley, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. Hey, I think I've got it. John, I've got a brilliant idea for how we resurrect... I was going to say Anthony Gormley. How we resurrect William Morris.
How would you do that? How?
Well, I'll need to have a look at the script and tell you all. What if it was a William Morris patterned pair of sock puppets, which burst into the present through Bob and Roberta Smith's stomach, like that scene in Alien?
Well, hold on a minute. I've got to contact my agent to see if this is an appropriate thing for me to be doing. I'm a very serious artist. I'm an OBE. I've got GCSEs, you know. I've got GCSEs. I can't just leap onto the table and pretend to be John Hurt. Oh, crikey, I don't feel very well.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Did you eat some Bob?
Were those gluten-free snacks we had really gluten-free?
They were, but maybe you ate one of those... Did you eat one of those Jaffa cakes?
I'm feeling bloated!
Oh, honey! Oh, God! Oh, my God! Jesus Christ, I think it's William Morris!
It's not really William Morris, it's the whole pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood! Not the pre-Raphaelites! Not the pre-Raphaelites! It's the whole pre-Raphaelite movement!
Get them off him! Oh no, they're coming after us! Oh no!
And then the William Morris sock puppet alien spawns a race of socky offspringing who form their own arts and craft loving utopia and massacre humankind.
Well, clearly I become the Sigourney Weaver character. I go off into space. I become a cyborg, and I figure out how to travel back in time so that I can kill off the Socky Morris offspring. I've got to avenge my husband's death. But you know what else? I am the captain.
Then one of the gentrifying aliens teleported Jessie out to another realm.
And so Socky Morris has had socky offspring who turn the world into a chintzy wallpapered arts and craft utopia. It's hideous. They spend all day partaking in various arts and craft activities, sewing, knitting, weaving, show trials, until...
I have unfinished business in this William Morris sock puppet dystopia.
Set accents to Russian! Look, you're right!
Report, Museum Director Rutger Hauer.
All the Socky Morris puppets have been annihilated, Captain.
And they deserved it, too. I never liked that wallpaper anyway.